It'd be one thing if I learned it and then I never did anything with it, you know. But learning it, applying it in combat with barricaded shooters and all kinds of shit, you know, we got it on at that deployment. And all of my boys coming out, you know. And this barricaded shooter did not want to die, man. We ended up dropping, I think, 2 J-dams on him, and he was still alive under the rubble. Yeah. You know, like, it was a mess, you know. But, yeah.
So talk about that night, man. Talk about that target.
So we, me and my boy, the other squad leader, I'm going to bring up his name, but we always loosely planned, right? Like, I could look at a building, shut my eyes, and already have where black side's going at this point, you know, because you just do it so often. It's kind of clockwork, you know. Yeah. But, you know, no plan survives first contact, right? So we'd always loosely plan it, and there's shit you don't see in imagery. You can't see where the shadows are casted and stuff like that, right? So we show up to objective, planned on going. I was secondary, and primary was going to hit the house we'll call it to the north. I forget what direction it was. We'll call it to the north. The breach was going to be to the south, and these 2 little, like, farm buildings, you know, and the main residence is on the north side of this compound. Yeah. And we walk up in between the 2 farm buildings, look at the breach, didn't like it, right? Because once we opened that breach, the moons behind us would have backlit all of us coming through it. So we're like, nope, switch. So primary goes over, ends up blowing the main breach, the vehicle gate, which we intended on not using, used it. Blew that motherfucker through the courtyard, and I went in with my squad as secondary and hit those farmhouses, right? And then primary went up and hit the main house. And I'm pieing off. I go down into that, you know, that little hallway in between those two like farmhouses, right? Going between this little hallway, and I send my alpha team leader. He's moving up, and there's 2 opposing doors, you know, as we're walking towards it, to the south towards it. And the one opposing door's open, the other one's closed. So we're going to the open door, and he starts pieing it off. And I remember he turns, he looks left, he looks up, and then goes to jump back. So I grab his handle on the back of his kit and drag him back, and fucking belt-fed fire starts coming right out the fucking door, lighting everything up. I drag him back. Had that door been open, right, like our primary breach, this dude was on the 2nd story of this thing on a balcony looking down. So when he like pied and he looked up, he pied it, saw a stairwell, exposed stairwell, right? And followed that up before he came in the door, still using the door jamb. And came up and then saw a dude laying there in the prone with like sandbagged in position, you know, and jumped back, drag him back, and fucking he ends up surviving, right? And so we try sending the dog. Dog goes in, machine gun fire. You hear the whole platoon. Oh. Yeah. Dog comes running back out. I was like, yeah!
Dog lived,
Yeah, so I was like, well, fuck it. We went to the back, and everything else is clear, right? So we just know that our targeted individual is in this building, you know, everybody. And go around to the back, and the primary squad leader climbs up, and we start blowing holes in the roof and start dropping grenades in, you know, grenades, thermal barracks, like all kinds of shit. Try to pie off and re-enter again, right? Well, actually, they tried to clear the other building, right? The western building. That was that adjacent closed door. Yeah. They tried going in there, and fucking one of the dudes, the last guy going into the room, trips and falls over the door jamb. Oh, right? Because it had like a raised door jamb. And the machine gun fire goes right over his fucking head.
Oh, man.
You can see the tracers going in, and he crawls into the room, right? Ended up taking a hoolie to the wall to get them out of that building.
Oh, shit.
So we back up and like, well, fuck it, man. I'm going to climb a ladder on the back of it and start hucking grenades in, right? And it's a fucking tall-ass building. So I put my alpha team leader up on a ladder towards the front to try to get an angle in on him, if you could see. And I climbed up on the south side of the building up to these 2 windows. Right. Went up to one window, fucking huck a grenade in, start pieing it off. I start getting fucking AK fire at me from a corner over here, not even where that doorway was.
So there must
have been 2 guys in there, right? So I start getting an AK fire, and I lean back, and it's hitting the window jam on this side of me. So I start kind of climbing back down, like, fuck this, you know? I start climbing back down, grenade comes out.
Oh, shit.
Fuck it. So I bail off the ladder, right? I'm like, grenade, and I jump off. And I remember my private, man, Stockman, I'm falling down to the ground to get down to the ground. And it feels like it's slow-mo because I'm going down to the ground, right? And I saw the spoon, heard it come off over me, right? And I go down to the ground. And as I'm falling to lay down, I've never seen a man get so short and sprint at the same fucking time. This dude is like doing the like duck walk, you know what I mean? Like, and just sprinting,
Oh, wow.
And whatever, it goes off. I don't think anybody took shrapnel. And then we back up, right? So we just break contact, start hammering the fucking second floor, break contact back up, calling CAS, drop some bombs on it, come back. So, again, I got my alpha team leader again, right? And he climbs up one of the rubble walls on the west side because that side of this whole compound's just
Gone.
rubble, right?
Yeah.
And there's like one wall that kind of comes up. So he climbs up it to try to get an eye over. Fucking bullet comes off at him, right? Rips off the top of them, off of it as right before he comes over. So we back up. We drop another fucking like 1,000-pound bomb on it, right?
Jesus.
We come back. Now this thing's gone. That wall's gone too. Like both of these southern structures are decimated.
Gone. Yeah.
And we walk around the rubble, and I'm fucking trying to dig through it, and you see something soft, looks kind of like a pillow, and somebody pokes it, and you hear, fucking stitch that up, right? Fucking leg out.
Yeah.
Dude's still fucking groaning. You know what I mean? This dude would not fucking die, man. Just wouldn't die. Pull him out, chest rack, all kinds of shit, And, yeah, it was wild. It was a wild night. But I'm like, motherfucker just didn't want to die. But it kind of comes all the way back to it, right?
Yeah.
They were prepared.
Yeah, so had you employed your previous tactics without my modifications,
We just gone.
We would have just bailed into the room.
2 or 3 men definitely would have got hit.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Like speed.
Yep.
Maybe would have got the first 2 in, but now we would have been stuck.
Yep.
And they're on the second floor.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows what they had on the stairs.
Yep.
I mean, between IEDs and whatnot, And, yeah, so fucking straight up survived the night.
I'm glad you did. So now we can fucking laugh and talk shit about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's wild, man. And yeah, I had experiences like that too in Fallujah where we had houses where dudes would just not fucking die. I was throwing a case of grenades almost every fucking day.
Yeah.
And we would just frag the shit out of fucking tiny ass rooms, and dudes would be still shooting back at us, and I'm like, fuck, okay.
People think a frag is like the end all be all.
No.
Man. That thing it's like winning the lottery when you hit somebody and actually like incapacitate them with it. Like they might take some frag, but you're still kicking,
Yeah, I did have a funny situation where we hit this house and there's these assholes shooting, and we got a troops in contact from one of my support, or from one of my other units, and so we were already rolling around in the neighborhood on a truck, and I was on the Mark 19, so I directed my guys over to where the tick was going on. Get there's assholes shooting from this window on the second story down into the street at my guys, and so we just roll up, and I just unleashed a whole fucking thing of Mark 19, and then I'm trying to get because the guys that they were shooting at were my Iraqi, they were my partner force guys. So I was trying to maneuver them up, and they wouldn't move, So Can is dry on the Mark 19, and we're losing momentum at this point. So I'm like, fuck it. I jump off the Humvee, run down, jump off the hood. And then that's at that point, one of my Marines dismounts and is trying to chase behind me. Then at this point, 2 Iraqis are following behind him. And we went into this house and clear the entryway, and then clear the first 3 rooms, and then there's this long hallway. And as soon as we get to this one, and then there were stairs going up, and as soon as we get to this point in the hallway, we start getting AK fire from down the hallway. Ka-ka-ka-ka-ka-ka. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So then we stop, and sure enough, he keeps doing this thing where he's sticking the gun out, spraying, going back in the room, sticking the gun out, spraying, going back in the room. And then it's quiet for a minute, and I'm thinking, okay, he's either reloading or something. And so I'm debating on whether we should fucking go.
Yeah.
And I see his foot come out from the fucking doorway. And I don't know if you remember, from the training where I was if you see a piece, blow it off.
Blow it off, yeah.
And he sticks his foot comes out just out of the door jamb that much, I see this little fucking rip off bullshit Adidas shell toe fucking tennis shoe stick out from the fucking door jamb.
So I love that Adidas shit.
Yeah, man. So I'm okay, cool. So I fucking put a round in his foot, and I hear him go, and he screams, and then right after that, boom! And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
An explosion went off in that room, and I was like, oh, I wonder if he had an S-vest on or what the fuck. So we go down the hallway, I pie the door, the room's filled with fucking, smoke and fucking dust and debris and shit. I pie the door, can't really see anything, so I'm holding far side of the door. And then I've got a Marine and an Iraqi on the other side, and I'm telling them to just hold up for a minute, and we're waiting to just kind of see what happens. And then I start to re-pie the door again. Yeah. And I come back out, and I can see his leg on the floor at this point because the smoke had cleared.
Yeah.
And then I'm all right, make entry. So I go in the room, and he was fucking prepping a grenade when I fucking shot him in the foot, and he shot him in the foot, and he dropped the grenade, and he not only blew himself up, but he blew the fuck out of his buddy that was in the room with him. So his buddy's like sitting in the corner of the room with his back like up against the corner, and like just stunned as fuck, like trying to get his fucking, his, trying to get his bearings about him, and his AK was on the floor, like he dropped it. And I just of course, gave him the good news as I came in the room, like, oh, hey, how you doing, fella? Boom, fucking put like 6 or 7 rounds in him.
Man, targets of opportunity is a thing.
Yeah. And so, seeing a piece and blowing it off is definitely a thing. But, like, I'll never forget that. Like, he was prepping a grenade, and I shot him in the foot while he was prepping a grenade, and he blew himself and his buddy up.
That was basically – this was the first time I shot somebody, man. Mm-hmm. It was a similar thing, right? Yeah. It's like 2004? I believe it was 2004. Whatever. One of my first deployments. I think it was it was my second. But it's my second deployment. We land little birds on the roof and rope into this roof. Call it again on the south side. There's Palm Grove to the south. So me and a machine gunner get on that roof, little like shed.
Yep.
And the main structure is only like 10 meters in front of us, Well, I went to the south. I was just an assistant gunner, right? So I go to the south with my M4, and my machine gunner goes north to go get eyes on the building because they're roping into the city, like I want to say east and west, whatever, they're going to converge down on it. And he goes up the north, looks down at the entrance, right, from inside the courtyard.
Yeah.
And there's 4 fucking dudes looking up at him, all with AKs, and they're charging their AK. Well, he's aircraft loaded, so he starts charging the fucking 48, right?
Oh, dude.
And it's just a race to see who could charge what first and fucking rip up, So he's just straight from the hip, rips up, And I'm like, slam on the brakes, run back to the north side, look down, and he stitches up one dude clean in the doorway. 2 of them run down underneath the overhang that we can't see him.
Yeah.
And another dude runs into the house. And one of the dudes that runs underneath the overhang tries booking it down the courtyard wall. So we both hem him up, and it's fucking 760, man. This dude's arm fucking straight unhooks.
Yeah.
Detaches.
Yep.
But he's trying to get out of the courtyard. And now the dudes are coming, right? They're about to make breach, so they push the 48 back down to watch the Palm Grove, like outer security, and I'm still looking at the building, right? So I'm looking, and I remember I told my squad leader, I'm like, I think I see somebody, he's well, fucking shoot him, So, and it was like straight through that door, you could see like a hallway that goes left and right, and I kept seeing something just kind of coming out. Couldn't really identify exactly what it was, but it looked like a person, right? Like it looked maybe a shirt or something, and it was only a little bit. It ended up being his shoulder. So I shoot this dude's shoulder, he spins, and then I fucking stitch them all up on the wall. Like
gave him the good news.
Good little murder scene, like good blood splatter.
Yeah.
They ended up coming in, and he was basically barricaded in on that hallway, waiting for them.
Waiting for him to come in.
Dudes enter the house, So it's similar and different at the same time, right? It's like that target of opportunity could have not shooting that dude, right? And waiting to find like a full positive 100% that is, I see a gun threat, he's shooting at me now. Right. If I would have waited for that, maybe never have got it, and somebody coming down this hallway, it wasn't a hallway, it wasn't into a room where dudes could have split off the fatal funnel. Dudes just would have got stitched up as they're trying to come down, most likely.
They would have got trapped in the hallway and channelized.
So
hallways are nasty.
Yeah. And then that dude that was trying to run out of the courtyard, when we were doing SSE, we ended up finding like a fucking 50-pound body bomb or something, like literally buried next to the structure we were on.
Oh, wow.
When we bipped it, put it on time fuse and took off, it leveled the building I was standing on.
Oh, shit.
So again, it's like you start fighting, man, you're fighting now.
Yeah.
And what happens.
Yeah. When the first round goes off, it's it's go time.
Now it's Spidey sense, right? Yeah. Like if you feel a threat by motion, movement, anything, it's got to go, know? And it's like I'm not saying rules of engagement aren't important, but at the same time, you can't be so afraid that you're going to do the wrong thing that you don't do the right thing.
Right.